Hello, welcome. My name is Zelda Kelly. I'm with PsychicSecrets.com, and today we're going to be looking into the meanings of the playing cards. Now, when reading with playing cards, that is called Cartomancy. I'll put a spelling up here for you. That means that when you are a reader in Cartomancy, you become a cartomancer. It's very interesting because many people don't know that the playing cards came about, we're thinking, about the 13th century, something like that, in China. There's a lot of meaning around the playing card deck, and it has changed many times over the centuries. But now we have 52 playing cards, and in Cartomancy, I use both jokers, which makes it 54. So I also want you to know that the tarot cards came from the playing card deck. And I don't think really anybody knows an exact year or century that happened. But I believe it was right around the 14th or 15th century when that started, that phase of divination. I'm using the playing card deck, which is the Renaissance deck. Beautiful deck. You've seen me use this before. I love it. It's got these little griffins on it, and it's got knights and all kinds of things. There's a beautiful shield there. It comes in a gold. This is silver. And then we have a black version, which I think is really beautiful. It doesn't show up very well against this black cloth that I'm using, but it's still a very, very beautiful deck. And I thought I would share that with you too. Now, the ace, we're going to start out with the ace of the suits, because in the playing card deck, in Cartomancy, the ace for me is the first card. Now, there is an Anglo-Saxon way, and then there is a French way of reading, and I'm sort of kind of maybe in between. And over the years, I have been reading for 45 years. Over the years, meanings have evolved, combinations of cards have evolved with me, and I use a different interpretation of these cards. And maybe someday I'll publish that interpretation so that you can use it for yourself and for your own divination. I think reading from the playing cards can give you just as much information as when you read for tarot. Sometimes in a reading, I like to perhaps read with a playing card and then confirm with a tarot card, or vice versa. Many times, just like the tarot, you have to either put the deck to rest, meaning you got to give it a little time out, or retire your cards. And because at first you're going to see that it's a lot of energy, very energetic, there's a lot of things going on with their playing cards, and you'll get some really good readings. But as time goes on, you'll feel if it's a little struggle or not. So just a couple of things about reading with playing cards. Use a deck that is brand new. I like to get a deck that doesn't have too much of a plastic surface on it. It's hard to find anymore. I just think that the plastic surface, for whatever reason, inhibits the reading of the cards. It's a preference thing. Also, when you get a deck, make sure that you don't get a deck from a store that sells repurposed decks, like the ones where the corners are cut off, that are from a casino, that they use in their shoe in the casino. That will not work out. But just remember, always use a deck that has never been for games or used for games. That's why you want a brand new deck. When picking out a playing card deck, pick something that really resonates with you, that makes you feel good while you're reading. I've had decks in the past over the last few years that have really felt kind of cringy to me and uncomfortable didn't really care for those, so I retired them early. Over the years, I'm going to say in the 1980s, yes, 1980s, I got a playing card deck from a tourist town in Tennessee in the Great Smoky Mountains. I had that deck for years. It was not plastic coated. I used that deck. That deck probably had thousands of readings with it. I read for a major online, well, it wasn't online back then. It was a major call-in psychic line back then in which I used those cards. I'm going to say I'm not exaggerating when I said thousands of readings. With this particular deck, I'm into the hundreds. I'm not going to be retiring this soon because I don't use it every day. I switch between 5 different decks. The other thing, but I was going to tell you about the playing card deck that I received from the Great Smoky Mountains. It was not plastic coated and they basically disintegrated. I really had to retire them. I was forced to retire that deck when the cards just fell apart when I was shuffling. That was a very sad day for me because that was a big, big part of my reading and I was not prepared. So be prepared. Have a second deck on hand. You never know. Sometimes you lose a card. Sometimes anything can happen to your cards. Have a second deck. When you get your cards, your deck of cards, you always want to hold them, shuffle them, of course, divide out the suits, divide out, that actually technically is a joker. I love that, by the way. That is a lesser joker. You see how beautiful this deck is. This is from the Elephant Playing Card Company and is the Renaissance deck. But anyway, hold your cards, shuffle them, let them get to know you. Put your energy on them. Even if you have to walk around the house, holding your deck like this is good. But beware. Once you use a deck for reading, cartomancy, divination, you should not use the deck again for playing games. If you do, that will ruin the divination and most likely even the games. So refrain from that if you can. The last thing I want to say is many times if you're reading in a situation where you're reading quickly, one after another, you can write the meanings on your cards. There's nothing wrong with that. Writing the meaning on your card will help you immediately be able to tell what situation your client or even yourself, if you read for yourself, is in, and it will help you with the combinations of cards. And believe me, with the tarot as well, but with the playing cards and cartomancy, there are a lot of combinations that you can use. So let's get down to the meaning. In some people will use the ace last after the king. I like to use it first because as far as I'm concerned, you always have good energy if you lay out an ace first or within the first 5 cards. I like that. Now the Ace of Hearts has a dual meaning, like many of other cards actually, but the meanings are that it is a timing card for autumn or the fall. Many of us know that. It can mean romance, harmony in the home, contentment. It means that there is a number one solution. It is a cup sign, as in the tarot. So it is a water sign, either Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. It is a very good timing card if you have other number cards beside it. And it represents and can represent love because of the heart. Now, one last thing I want to share with you, and that is this correlates with the Ace of Cups. This also is a water sign, and it is also a timing card and can be used as a timing card. And it also is a card that indicates the autumn of the year or the fall of the year. You can see the water in the cup, and there's a lot of really good meaning. So you're going to see this card in my other series called The Great 78, in which we will be going one by one through the cards with the meanings and in-depth of the tarot. The same as we're going to be doing with the playing cards. One last thing, some very famous people I know that you've heard of were very famous, and this was historical people, for getting playing cards and readings from the playing cards. That is Josephine and Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon was warned by a cartomancer to not go into battle, the Battle of Waterloo. He did it anyway. She told him that he would end up in exile, and that he did. There's a big story about that. I may publish that one time. Check back. But that's the meaning right now of the Ace of Hearts. So don't forget, if you want to, you can write your meanings on the cards. And get a deck. Get ready. We're going to go through the card meanings one by one, and you'll be set to start reading the cards. You don't have to be psychic to read the cards if you know what the card meanings are and the layouts are, and we will go through that. Thank you so much for watching this series. Welcome to Cartomancy, and I look forward to you being a cartomancer in the very near future. You be well and take care, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.